Hello guys, welcome back to Car Obsession and welcome to another point of view review. This time I'm in the Hyundai Kona N Line. Now before I get started, this car is a little bit old school in some ways because look, I have a flip key and an ignition bell. Now weirdly, you have to put your foot on the clutch and the brake to start it. Also, quite annoyingly, I've got 3 drive modes: Eco, Normal and Sport. Go on lads, having a bit of hooning on a Sunday. Yes, I've got Eco, Normal and Sport, but the car as default goes into Eco, which I find a bit annoying. Let's get it straight into Sport, shall we? Right, make sure nothing's coming, I'm good. And away we go. So despite its sporty appearance, the N Line hasn't actually got a lot of power, not like its bigger brother, the N. So under the bonnet I have a 1 litre 3-cylinder turbocharged petrol which offers 120 horsepower along with 172 newton meters of torque. If you prefer that in pound-feet, I will of course drop a subtitle below. Right, I think I will be steaming up, so I will need to put the climate control on. Let's go with that. In regard to performance, this will hit 62 miles per hour in 11.9 seconds and the top speed is 112 miles per hour, although to be fair the top speed is kind of irrelevant anyway. In regard to economy, on a combined run, Hyundai states you can expect around mid-40s, and this car emits 138 grams per kilometre, meaning for the first year of VED you'll be required to pay £210. I'll make sure I'm good. This engine sends its power to the front wheels via a very slick changing 6-speed manual gearbox. The change is fantastic. It wouldn't feel out of place in a hot hatch, so Hyundai, you've done well there. Well done. The engine, although it may not seem that responsive on paper, in the real world it is quite nippy. It's quite willing, it's quite peppy, and it does offer quite an enjoyable drive. I mentioned a few moments ago about the gear change being very hot hatchy, and so is the handling, although down here I can't really demonstrate that because I'm currently stuck in a 30. Right, before I get into some more sweeping, faster roads, let me talk you through the specification. So the N Line has a starting price of £23,795, and as standard you get 18-inch alloys, tinted rear windows, LED daytime running lights, LED rear lights, halogen headlights. I don't know why I mentioned the headlights because halogen is quite basic nowadays, but anyway, I've got a 10.25 inch digital instrument cluster, a 10.25 inch touchscreen with DAB radio, navigation, Bluetooth and smartphone connectivity, climate control, rear parking sensors and a reversing camera, plus more. Right, onto the more fun stuff. Even though this car has got as much power as a food blender, once you wind it up and get it up to speed down a B road, it is actually quite enjoyable. Yes, it is quite a rewarding car to drive. Maybe not quite as fun as a Ford Puma ST line, but it isn't too far away. In the corners, this performs well. The steering has got a good weight to it, more so in sport mode of course, and the steering actually has quite a decent feedback to it, which is quite rare for cars nowadays, particularly a more kind of humdrum crossover. The brakes also perform well, got good stopping power, and there's also a good amount of grip from the Continental Premium Contact 6 tyres, even in conditions such as this. Yes, threading the N Line through the corners is genuinely quite rewarding, quite fun. More fun than I was expecting. The ride is a bit on the firm side, although I wouldn't say it's outright uncomfortable. This car, as standard, as I mentioned, is running on 18-inch alloys. If you do want your Kona to be a bit more supple, a bit more compliant in regard to suspension, I would recommend a lower trim level. Oh, pheasants, don't run out, don't run out. I would recommend a lower trim level, as that would give you either 16 inches or 17 inches, not 18, so this has got 18, silly me. The other drawback of larger alloys is you do get a bit more road noise coming into the cabin. I wouldn't say it's deafening, but it is most definitely audible, so it's worth bearing in mind. As much as the ride is on the firm side, these seats are very comfortable and they support you quite well actually. They're no Recaros, but at the same time, they're not too shabby. As standard, the driver's seat has also got an electronic lumbar support as well, which may come in handy for those longer drives. I know you can't see too much of it because the light is fading. I've squeezed this in at the end of my filming day, as I always do. It is winter in the UK, so the days are quite short, unfortunately. But the interior is a bit sombre. It is quite bland, if I'm going to be honest. Sorry, Hyundai, but I do need to be honest. Thankfully, you do. Oh, that's the lane keep assist and the lane departure warning. Thankfully, you do get some N line styling to help jazz things up. So I've got a sporty steering wheel with perforated leather, red stitching, and an N badge at the bottom, which you probably can't see because it's too dark. I've got an N line specific gear lever and gear knob and more red stitching, and the front seats are also finished in an N line style. So those are really a saving grace, because without those, I think it would be a bit of a boring cabin. However, as much as it is a little bit boring, I can't argue with the ergonomics. Everything is where you'd want it to be. It's all laid out very logically. And what I like is everything in here isn't all touch sensitive. So I do have a touch screen, of course, but I've got shortcut buttons at the bottom, which are proper physical buttons. I like that. The climate control also has proper physical buttons. Again, I like that. Okay, some may argue that there's probably too many buttons on the steering wheel, but overall, I've got no complaints. I just hold back for a few moments, so I don't really want to overtake when there's a bend up there. I do really like this digital display. I like the fact it changes with the drive mode, so an eco is a bit more plain. I quite like the normal actually. I quite like the white dials with the black numbers. It's quite a classic look, isn't it? I like that. But of course, sport is where you want to be. That's where all the fun is. Right, I'm good to go. Let's drop it down a gear. Deploy all 172 Newton meters of torque. Oh, eat my dust. That gear change really is very satisfying. I love it. If my head is bobbing about down here, I do apologise. As I've said, the ride is on the firm side. I would argue the Ford Puma ST line is probably a bit more compliant in its ride, but probably not too much to separate the two cars. Now, of course, things like boot space, rear space won't be covered in this video. This is all about the point of view aspect of the driving. Speaking of which, I will just be quiet for a few moments, just let you soak in the atmosphere and just enjoy the ride. That's the only drawback of roads like this. They are quite narrow. Sounds a bit like Morse code, doesn't it? The Kona N does come with a good amount of safety features, such as hill start assist, traction control, although that's kind of a given nowadays, isn't it? I've got autonomous emergency braking, lane keep assist, lane departure warning, as well as a few others. I've got 6 airbags, and this car was awarded 5 stars from Euro NCAP. So if you want a small SUV that's got plenty of safety, then this is your car. This also comes with a 5-year warranty as well, which will give you peace of mind when it comes to reliability. Now, I mentioned the fuel economy a little earlier. What have I been getting this week? Well, most of my driving has been around town, so I haven't really done a mixed style of driving. But on my drive here today, which was a mix of town driving but mostly A roads, I got 38.1 mpg, which is pretty good. It's not anything to write home about. One thing I haven't mentioned, because I keep forgetting it, this car does have a mild hybrid system for better efficiency. As you can hopefully see, right now I'm doing 32.5 mpg, which again isn't anything to write home about, but I'm not exactly driving the car in an economical fashion, am I? The engine does get a bit wheezy as you approach the red line, and in all honesty there's no real point in taking this car all the way to the rev limiter, because A, it's not that kind of car, and B, you won't really gain much from doing so. It does run out of puff. There will of course be a full review coming, so be sure to keep your eye out for that. If you're not subscribed, then please do so. It would be great to have you on board, have you part of the car obsession community. If you do have any questions about this car, then please just drop it in the comment section below, and I will answer as quickly as I can and to the best of my ability. Right guys, there we have it. Let's finish, I should say, if I can get my words out, overlooking the wondrous South Downs. Even in these conditions, it is a very pretty picture, and there's sheep as well. There we are. You couldn't get any more rural if you tried. Anyway, I do hope you have enjoyed this video. If so, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. A massive thank you for you guys watching, and thank you for Hyundai UK for loaning me this car for the week. Yes, if you have enjoyed it, then yes, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. I think I've just said that, haven't I? Well, if I've already said it, I've said it again. Yes, until the next time guys, be sure to keep up the car obsession.